Oh, hello, marketer. How you going? It's Happy Tuesday. It's me, Mark Ritson, your potential virtual marketing professor, here to present a virtual open day for the mini MBA in marketing and mini MBA in brand management. Over the next hour, I'm going to take you through all of the key questions, topics, overview of the course, and hopefully convince you to join us in April or perhaps September to come and do this amazing experience. So, without further ado, let me take you through the plan for our session today or tonight, depending on where you are. So, I'll quickly explain my background and why it legitimizes me to be able to run the mini MBA. What the heck do we mean by a mini MBA? Confuses a lot of people. What is it and what is it not? How does it all work and what would you do if you signed up? Then I'll delve into the two programs. So we offer two different mini MBA courses that are very distinct in terms of content. The first is the mini MBA in marketing. So I'll talk a little bit about that content and how it works, etc., and what's in it. Then I'll look at the other course, which is the mini MBA in brand management. The reason we do them together is many people are interested in both and they aren't sure which one to do. So I'm going to do them together and then talk about which one might be the more relevant for you. Then I'm going to talk about whether it's any good. Spoiler alert, it's very, very good, but I'm going to, I think it's good. I'm bound to think that. But we're going to share with you some of the feedback that we've got from marketers that have completed the course. I'll do a quick FAQ with sort of the classic questions everybody has to hopefully preempt the questions that the same person asks 100 times over. And then I'm going to open up the session to basically questions from you guys for the rest of this session. My hope is to talk for no more than 30 minutes, then flip across to the Q&A, which could go as long as you guys want. I'm not going anywhere. And I'll answer literally everyone's question. You can ask me anything you like, anything. Okay. If you want to start entering your questions early, you can. Over there, you'll see that there's a question section in the portal, and you can post your questions at any point. And again, ask me anything. The only caveat is I should be answering a lot of those questions in the next 30 minutes. So you might want to wait for about 15 or 20 minutes. And if I don't answer it, start banging them in, and I'll go through them all at the end in the order that they were submitted. Okay? Again, ask anything you like. It's your session, not my session. Okay? All right, let's start with who am I? If you know me at all, and some of you won't, but if you know me at all, it's probably from the column that I write in Marketing Week, which I've been writing for a lot more than a decade. Ironically, it's the thing I'm probably best known for, but it's the smallest part of my sort of job, or has been in the past. So I kept it relatively quiet, I think. But I was a marketing professor for 25 years. I did my PhD in marketing at Lancaster University in the 90s, a postdoc at Wharton, and then I became a marketing professor for the next quarter century, teaching at places like the University of Minnesota, London Business School, a visiting professor at MIT, and finally at Melbourne Business School in Australia. And I taught, on the MBA programs of all those schools. And I didn't just teach. I mean, I don't want to blow my own trumpet too loudly. I suppose it's appropriate, but in the session like this. But I was, widely regarded as one of the best teachers, if not the best teacher at those schools on the MBA programs. I won the teaching prize, for example, at all three of my last schools for MBA teaching. And so, I'm an acclaimed marketing professor, or I was, because I've stopped doing it a couple of years ago for reasons that will become obvious. Now, some of you are now going to go, oh, Christ, academics and theory. And, there's that sort of Gary V school of nonsense that's like, you guys teach, you don't do. The problem with that is any good business school professor, me included, was doing 5 or 6 days of practice at very high levels for very large amounts of money at the same time as we were teaching. Proper business school professors were also proper business people as well. In my case, my specialist area was brands, and I've worked at the highest level for some of the world's biggest companies at the boardroom level on very big brand problems for many, many, many years. And I don't want to go on about that. You can look at LinkedIn and all that stuff there. But whatever I've been teaching on the mini MBA programs, whether it be market orientation, brand architecture, pricing, it's stuff that I've done. Not necessarily very well, by the way. Sometimes I've certainly screwed up when I've been working with clients. Not always. But the point is I've done it, and I have an enormous amount of practical experience as well. And that comes across in the mini MBA. It's not some theory-driven course. It's both, yeah? It's what you get from someone that was a professor for 25 years and someone that has worked in practice for more than 25 years, kind of the best of both worlds. So where does mini MBA come from? So indulge me for a couple of minutes. So if you go back sort of 6-7 years, it was becoming increasingly apparent, at least to me, that marketing as a discipline was becoming crapper. Yeah. We'd lost kind of the focus on the fundamentals. There were, in my opinion, a whole bunch of charlatans saying things that weren't even correct, never mind useful. And marketers were going backwards. I'm not saying the 1980s were a golden era for marketing, but whatever they were superior to where we were heading now. And there were all kinds of indications of that, and some of which were actually, quantitatively measured. So I felt marketing was going backwards. At the same time, I wasn't part of the solution. So although I was sitting there in my ivory tower teaching MBA students what I thought was very good marketing advice and good brand management skills, on average, I would teach 500 managers a year, and most of them weren't marketers. They were going up to the C-suite or to a management role. They were just getting their marketing from me as part of their general MBA. So I wasn't really part of the solution. I was certainly I was writing columns about how crap it all was, but I wasn't doing anything to fix it. And so it's our 6th year this year, but around 6-7 years ago, I started formulating a plan to try and democratize the stuff I was teaching and the kind of training in marketing you'd get at a top business school and offer it to more people who were marketers and who didn't have the time or the money or frankly the desire to go and spend 2 years at a top business school in Philadelphia or London or Paris. And there were some key drivers behind doing that. I'm going to be totally transparent with you. I felt we could make good marketing knowledge more accessible. We could make it more convenient so more marketers would engage with it. It would certainly also, because it was online, be more scalable and therefore much more profitable for me. And all of those things ended up happening, right? Almost bizarrely to prediction. The fifth element that I wasn't expecting to happen was that this online marketing training that became the mini MBA was also more effective for the marketers that experienced it. And that was something I hadn't banked on. I always figured it would be more convenient, more profitable, blah, 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 than going and doing a training course in a classroom at a top business school. What I had not anticipated, which I am now certain of, is that the experience of doing, the mini MBA supersedes anything you could experience in a classroom from Harvard down. I was not expecting that. And that's my point of view, but I was teaching for the last few years of my professorial life, MBA students in the classroom and running mini MBA. And it was the same person, me, it was the same syllabus pretty much. And yet it was clear to me that the mini MBA people were getting so much more from the learning and the experience than those that were in the classroom. And that blew me away. Yeah. And that's something that has delighted me, frankly. I'll talk about why in a minute, okay? So before we go any further, what is a mini MBA in marketing? A lot of the people that do the course don't like the name, but tough, it's a good name, as you'll see. So to understand what I'm up to, you first of all got to refer back to a proper MBA, okay? And I want to make it very clear right at the start, the mini MBA in marketing is not a replacement for an MBA at a top school. That just isn't, for lots of reasons we'll get into. A top MBA, and I'm talking an MBA at a top 20 school somewhere on the planet, it's going to take you 2 years. You're going to do it full time, or maybe 3-4 years part time. It's going to cost you about $100,000 US. You're going to obviously experience it in a classroom, which you'll spend 3 hours in at a time. And you'll do scheduled classes at certain points during the day or evenings or weekends. obviously it depends on your physical presence. You got to go. And the key point here, the B in MBA stands for business, not brand. So although marketing is part of an MBA, it's normally 10-15% because you're doing accounting and you're doing strategy and you're doing ops and you're doing cash flow, you're doing everything else, right? As you should. And I'm a huge fan of the MBA. I remain a huge fan of it. I think for certain managers at certain points in their career, it's still a brilliant career catalyst. And it's lovely that a small proportion of our mini MBA people get such a taste for it. They go off and do a proper MBA afterwards, which is also good. That's not what we're doing here. Yeah. To be clear, I used to teach on the programs that offered a full MBA, but I was only teaching the marketing core course and the brand elective. And that's essentially what we're offering here. So what do we mean by a mini MBA in marketing or a mini MBA in brand management? Well, you compare the two together, okay? First of all, we're 15 weeks in and out, yeah? By the time you include time for the exam and getting your grades back and everything else, it's a 15-week program from beginning to end. It's not going to cost you $100,000. It's going to cost you, it depends on the exchange rates day to day, but if we do it in US dollars, almost exactly 2,000 US dollars. You're not going to be in a classroom. Everything we've created is using our learning portal, which you can access anywhere on the planet, literally. And not just anywhere, but also anytime. We have had people, marketers from more than 60 countries do the mini MBA in every possible time zone. So you can study anytime. And that sometimes, you think, oh, that sounds like it's just some bad download document or something. We've cracked the learning portal. It's very interactive. It's very intimate. I believe it's superior to a classroom experience, but it's also studied anywhere at any time, and that's kind of its secret sauce. There's no physical presence at all. It's 100% online. This session is coming to you from Tasmania. It's being run by a woman in London, and we will have people from 30 to 40 countries asking questions in a minute. Everything is online. And finally, unlike a mini MBA, like a full MBA, with all the raft of different courses you do, this is only the marketing or brand management course from that much fuller, broader MBA. This is not a replacement for an MBA. This is for those that want a top MBA level experience of just marketing and or just brand management training. You're not getting anything else. And I need to be very clear about that. Okay, so that's why we call it mini. It's mini in terms of cost. It's mini in terms of time. It's mini in terms of the content that we do and don't share. Okay. How does it all work? We've spent quite a long time building a learning platform that's our learning platform. It isn't someone else's that we've shipped in. We've built and customized it. Well, I have. To my satisfaction. I have to live with all kinds of crap university learning management systems for years. We finally got to build one that was built around busy marketers. So we're very happy with the learning platform. It's intuitive and simple and designed to fit into a marketer's busy week. And it contains everything you need. You tune into that on your phone or your laptop, and there everything is progressing on a weekly basis. So what's in that learning platform? Well, the centerpiece is a 90-minute class, my MBA class, on each of the topics within the mini MBA we're doing. Now, again, that's not me shouting, these shit classes where you've got some guy he's got books behind him and he's got a shit webcam and he's shouting at you and he's like, it's none of that. Don't worry. We've spent a lot of money on green screen. I spent a tremendous amount of times working on the content. This thing we're doing today is not how we do mini MBA. This is a very shonky thing from my garage in Hobart. It's way better than this. Trust me. This is not what we're talking about. It's not me going, oh, I'm going to talk to you today. So this is, it's a proper, engaging, interesting, people say funny 90-minute class. Okay. Linked to that, I curate assigned and optional resources, which are the key readings around the topic. Now, these are readings from business school, from Harvard Business Review, and also readings from Marketing Week and other areas. But they aren't so much readings anymore. We've moved more and more to podcasts and other resources that allow you to process and learn without necessarily having to download a PDF. Okay, so these are the other essential resources. Imagine, in a typical week, I might assign one or two you have to read these. Brand architecture, right? There's 2 readings on brand architecture you have to cover. Then there's 3 or 4 optional podcasts and a fascinating video about it. That's it, right? Not all of them you have to do, but this is what I believe is the best content linked to my class that will enable you to learn. There's a ton of alumni discussion that happens on board too. So, again, you might be surprised, but if you're looking for interaction with other marketers in big companies around the world, this will happen on the mini MBA. If you're not looking for that, you can quite happily do the whole program in silence and never interact. And we find there really are 2 segments that really enjoy the interaction and segments that, for whatever reason, don't really want anyone to know that they're there. That's super cool. Both get what they want. So there is genuine interaction in the courses. And I run Q&A sessions around each class, which are, again, you pose the questions, I answer the questions, and then we essentially make it available on demand on a bi-weekly basis. And those tend to be very applied, very engaged, interesting sessions. I was very skeptical when we started off with those, but they've turned out to be one of the big parts of the course, and everyone enjoys them. We also do an applied exam or test or something at the end. Now, a word on this. It's not some multiple chance nonsense. And we get, because everyone's trying to launch an equivalent competitor product to us. Everyone criticizes, they've got an exam. It's too theoretical. That's because the people creating these courses have never taught properly. Exams are not there to give out grades. You get a grade for the exam. A business school, if you've ever taught as a professor at business school, which I haven't, most other people haven't, we use the exam as a very important final learning experience. It's the only reason we do it. So in the marketing course, the mini MBA in marketing, you put together a marketing plan for a fictional company and you get graded on that. And, the exam is notorious. We change it each year. And sure enough, the most popular thing in the mini MBA, the most loved thing is the exam. And the most hated thing is the exam, which is as it should be. But it's a way to learn, right? A final learning experience. In the brand management course, the mini MBA in brand, you build a brand plan throughout the course. And at the end, you run that brand for 5 years in a simulation against your classmates, and your final share price is your grade. So when I say exam, I'm not talking about, A, B, C, or D. It's a structured, interactive learning experience that brings a lot to your final development as a marketer, which is why we do it. But you do get a grade, and some people get turned on by that, and they get a B or an A or whatever. But that's not really the point, okay? And you can hide your grade if you're embarrassed. You can just get the certificate without the grade. What's the ask for either course? 3 to 10 hours per week. Now, the reason I can't give you a fixed figure is because different marketers do it differently. There's a whole bunch of people go in and do the class and the set reading, and they're done for the week. There's a whole bunch of others that really go in hard on it and really use the course and every single piece of material. And there's a group in the middle. We're a grown-up course for grown-up marketers. There's certainly 10 hours of material per week if you want those 10 hours. But we encourage you not to digest things that are not up your alley. Yeah, you build your own learning experience. So I've got a very itchy nose tonight. Don't know why. But you need to. But and again, when I say 3 to 10 hours, that's not you sitting in a room staring at a screen. You can literally study the mini MBA anywhere. And if I showed you 10 people who did the course in September, I would show you 10 people who studied in 10 different ways. In the places and spaces. People do it walking dogs. They do it looking after small children, waiting to give birth to small children, during their lunch breaks with their colleagues. There literally isn't one way. And when I said to you earlier, this is more effective than traditional teaching, this is, for me, the reason. When you drag people into a lecture theatre for 8 hours on a Saturday, what do you know? It's not the prime way to learn. Giving people engaging, interactive content, but allowing them to drop it into the spaces and places in their life each week, it is an optimum way, it turns out, for people to learn. And I think that's the secret to this, is we challenge you to decide when and how you're going to study. And everything is on demand. So there isn't some appointed hour that you've always got to be racing to be available to. We have marketers who are too busy and in too many places. So it's laid before you each week, and you get to be your own timetable. Yeah. So let me talk about the 2 different courses. because some of you may have an interest in one or the other or both. So let's start with the mini MBA in marketing, which came first. So to understand this, if you did an MBA at Wharton or Harvard or London Business School, in the first year of the 2-year course, you would do what's called the core courses. So these are the fundamental, everything you need to know, the whole big picture. And I used to teach the core marketing course at MIT, at London Business School. It's quite a famous course. It covers everything. Now, it's not basic. It's fundamental, which is a different thing, and it covers the whole gamut of marketing. And that's a key point here, okay? We've got CMOs do the mini MBA marketing and rave about it afterwards. They know some of it, but it fills in the gaps and it structures it for them. This is the qualification in marketing if you just want the total knowledge set, yeah? And I structure it in the classic Harvard Business School system. So we start with diagnosis. So that covers the topics of market orientation, market research, and segmentation. We then move to strategy, which for me consists of targeting, positioning, objective setting, and overall strategic thinking. And then it takes us into tactics, and we then look at distribution, pricing, communications, yes, but also product development and how we execute off the strategy. That sequence is as important as the content itself, yeah? The way that we do marketing, when it's done properly, is the structure of the course. And we end, as I've mentioned already, with the final planning challenge. A fictional company has a marketing issue, and you go in and solve it using your new toolkit. We find from people that have done the course that the appeal is really centered around three things. First, it often confirms what marketers already know or what they thought they probably knew. It might give it a new name or new depth or locating it a different place. But a lot of the confidence from the course comes from going, yeah, okay, I knew that's right. But this is not just about telling you what you already knew. It's much better than that. It fills in gigantic holes in your knowledge that maybe you don't know anything about pricing. Maybe you don't understand what market orientation is. Maybe the principles of marketing strategy haven't really been explained to you. You know what I mean? These areas and these theories and models and application and case studies are where it really comes into its own and you learn, right? And finally, that big picture, what we hear most from marketers is it joins all the marketing dots together and gives them a total picture. They become a full marketer because now they see the whole thing, often for the first time. Who would you study with on the marketing course? Well, as you can see, the most important chart is that bar chart over there. It's not a junior program. This is data from, forgive me, April last year. So last year's intake in April. You'll see there we've got 40% of managers, but there's a lot of heads of, executive, director, C-level. You see what I mean? So the average age is mid-40s, and they're all experienced marketers, and that's what we want. We've managed to avoid really young, lovely, but young and experienced people. And we've got people in the middle of their careers who are wanting to learn more and formalize it. And that's the sweet spot of an MBA. So we love the class we attract. You'll see down on this box here, around 30% are self-funded. They pay for themselves. But we increasingly now handle the training needs of many of the world's biggest companies who trust us with their marketers for training. You'll be sitting with all kinds of marketers from all kinds of wonderful companies, as you'll learn. And then above me, my big head up here, you'll see that we are a properly international program. We drew, 49 different countries for the April program. There's a bit of strength in the UK. There's a bit of pull from Australia. But it's spread broadly over everywhere. And the thing behind me, if I can move like this without you seeing my legs scurrying across over here, is if you look over there, you'll see that we represent people from all company sizes. Really evenly spread between marketers who work at very large companies all the way back to people who work in small boutique agencies and small organizations. Okay, so that gives you a glimpse of I mean, what is the point I'd like to make here? It's full of busy marketers who have lovely experiences and want to share and want to learn. It's brilliant. Is the marketing course, is the mini MBA in marketing any good? Well, yeah, it's fantastic. It's what most marketers need if they haven't been to a top business school and had a top tier training. It's what it says on the tin, yeah? Again, this is April of last year's data from 2,000 marketers, experienced marketers. 92% said it immediately made them more effective as a marketer. That's a stunning statistic, right? They've already got a lot of experience, and they said, I did the course, and it's made not just I enjoyed the course or I learned a lot. It made me more effective as soon as I finished the course. Yeah, that's not a low bar. 94% said it made them more confident in their skills as a marketer. I always wanted mini MBA to drive confidence, because often the best marketers doubt themselves. They have stupid imposter syndrome. And several people describe this as, imposter syndrome killing training, which is great. And we have a net promoter score, which in April was plus 76. It hovers around 76, 78 for most people. That's a very, again, difficult thing to achieve unless your product is very good. It's an Apple level of quality. And again, it isn't, did you enjoy the course? It's, would you recommend it to other marketers? And so many of them do. But again, quant data gets you so far. I think what is missing from those statistics is how life-changing the course is. We have hundreds of quotes like this. I just pulled 3, and I swear I didn't even worry too much about which 3. So here's a marketing director saying, hands down, the best marketing training I have ever had. We get that a lot. Here's another marketer, head of marketing, saying the marketing course against which all other marketing courses should be judged and will surely fall short. Do it now. We get that a lot. And then another marketing executive saying you have to do it. It's hard work and time consuming, but it will cement your current knowledge and expand off it. It will change your mindset and the way you do marketing. It should be essential for all marketers to commit to this course. What can I tell you? That's, it's almost embarrassing. It's not embarrassing, but it's almost embarrassing how marketers love this course. And we've grown by advocacy from people in offices. Literally what happens more often than not, the typical story of mini MBA is a marketer finishes the mini MBA in marketing. They go back to their office and someone says, what happened to you? You talk different. You're like a different beast now. Like, I did this course. And that's mostly how we're growing, through word of mouth. And this is just attempting to solidify that, really. All right, that's the first course. That's marketing. We have an equally good, perhaps even better course known as the mini MBA in brand management. So again, if you went to a Wharton or a Harvard or an LBS, in the second year, having done your core courses, you would pick about a dozen elective courses that you could choose. These are specialist, more in-depth courses. And my other job when I was a professor was teaching an elective in brand management, way before it became cool or trendy. In the 20th century, I specialized in brand management. I've been teaching brand management. I introduced brand management, I think it's fair to say, in every school I've ever worked in as an elective, and made it a wildly successful course. And it's probably, it's the area I'm most comfortable in. This is an easier sell than the marketing course. And forgive me again, this is going to sound like it's filled with hubris, and maybe it is, but I mean it, and I'm ready to prove it to you. This is the most advanced and applied training in brand management available anywhere in the world. Make no mistake, not just online or off, it's everything, right? There is nowhere you could get a better or more advanced training in brand management than on the mini MBA in brand management. The end. We ask people, which other courses have you done? And the people who've done brand management give us a list, and then we say, was it better, the same, or worse than the mini MBA in brand management? I don't think anyone ever says anything is better than this course. Occasionally someone says it's the same, but almost everyone says this was the best course we've done, because it is, right? It is. Again, it's hard for me, it's a fabulous course. Yeah. How's it structured? It's structured around the role of a brand manager. Who needs to get his or her finger into the brand. So understanding brand and understanding their brand in great detail first, then developing brand strategy, getting into things like brand architecture, brand assets, distinctive codes, positioning, repositioning, and so on. So proper hefty strategic sections, and then finally into execution and tracking. So, everything you need to manage a brand, basically. And as I mentioned earlier, you build the brand plan for a fictional brand throughout the course. So, when you learn about brand architecture, you then have to do the brand architecture for the fictional brand. And at the end of the 10 weeks, of course, you then apply that brand plan into an online simulation where you have to essentially manage the brand for 5 years against competitors, and your performance versus your classmates is the final grade of the course. It is incredibly fun. I mean, incredibly fun. People on the course are often stunned that they can learn so much while enjoying themselves so much, as if those two things can't be in the same quadrant. And of course, they go together hand in hand. What's in this course? I mean, I think there are two things. There are many very good brand managers who've never been trained in brand management because a good training really doesn't exist. There's a few weird design courses and stuff. This is a full training in brand management. There's nothing left after you finish this course. You know everything about brand management. And if you work in brand management, that's really handy. And second, you have a superior knowledge and ability to any other brand manager out there. Now, that might be appealing if you want to go for bigger and better jobs. You're going to kill. Or if you just want to manage your brands better within your organization, you're going to kill. And, there are very few courses that speak directly to immediate impact and improvement, but this is definitely one of them. Again, similar story. It's not very different from the marketing group. You'll see over there, again, it's a senior crowd. A lot of C-level, director, executives, shit ton of brand managers, no surprise. The only difference is these people tend to be in roles, obviously, where managing the brand is at the forefront. Again, we pull on many different countries, as you can see. And again, about 30% are self-funded, with the rest being funded by large organizations. And if you just look over my shoulders, everything from 29% in those small SME companies with less than 50 employees to 29% with more than 5,000 employees, some of the biggest companies in the world, entrust their brand managers to us now for training because it's superior to anything else. So is this any good? Yes, this is very good. 97% of the people coming out of the April course said it had made them more effective as a brand manager immediately. 99% felt more confident in their brand management and marketing skills. And we have a Net Promoter Score of plus 82. I'm not sure if that... Anyway, that's what we've got, Again, the qualitative data is even more impressive. The head of marketing in a life sciences company has been genuinely transformative. I paid for that out of my own pocket, and it's been the best investment I've made in my career. An innovation lead for a media company, it's the most satisfied I've ever felt from any formal education or training. We get that a lot. This is from the brand manager in a services company. Genuinely the best and most engaging course I've ever done. Like, people are upset when it ends because they can't do any more modules. I mean, that's a common thing. And here's a brand strategist working in consulting in B2B. I think it's been the most instructive, fun, encouraging, eye-opening course and experience for me. Again, we didn't cherry pick, I swear. These are just what people say at the end of the course. It's that good. So which course for you is a common question we get as well. I've got a section on the website that talks about it on our mini MBA website, but it's even more simple than that. So let's start with the default position, which is do the mini MBA in marketing. Okay. It was designed around year 1 mini MBA marketing, year 2 elective in brand management. They go 1-2 very nicely. So if in doubt, you want to do the marketing course. Even if you're quite an experienced marketer, you'll get a shit ton from the mini MBA in marketing for sure. The only exceptions to that, where you'd want to go and do brand management off the cuff and straight away, is you've already done the mini MBA in marketing. This is a natural second course. There isn't much overlap between the two. There's a little bit, 20%, which there has to be. But the two courses are meant to be A-B and work in that way. So if you've already done mini MBA marketing, then brand management is a great next step. If you've already done an MBA at a top school and you've been taught by Jennifer Archer or Duncan Symester, or Nada Tavasoli, like a really good, hefty, exceptional marketing professor who's taught you well at a top school, hey, come and do it. But it's what you would get at those top schools. So in those cases, it makes sense. You want to go and do the brand course straight away. We would encourage you to do that. And then finally, the other exception is if you work as a brand manager I'd always say to you, come straight in and do brand. You can come back and do marketing later, but if you are already a brand manager, don't waste any more time. Go straight in and do the brand course. It will speak directly to your role. So generally, that's the way we structure it. Go and do that first, unless one of those things applies. All right, so FAQ, I've already gone over my time. FAQs, and then we'll do live. So now is a good time if you want to start banging in your questions. But while we're at it, let me take you through some of the sort of common questions. Can I study it in X country? Yes, we've already done more than 60 countries. The fact that you're in X doesn't matter. I'm in Australia, my team's in London. It doesn't matter. So we've built a course which is genuinely global, and you don't have to worry about where you're located. It will work. Yeah, it will work just fine. Do you offer payment terms? We don't. I'm sorry about that. Genuinely sorry, but the complications of offering credit and loans and stuff like that preclude the mini MBA organization. We're not that big a group. We don't have that ability to deal with credit and stuff. It's just not possible. My apologies, but we don't. Are there any discounts? There's a couple of discounts I will tell you about in a moment, but off the bat, let me explain to you. There's not like some special way you can get 10 or 15% off. Again, I'm amazed at people that offer online training and then, in marketing, and it's like the first thing they do is give some of it away for free. That's dumb. Or they have like a 50% off sale. That's dumb. Or an early bird special. And you can learn why when you do the course and the pricing module. But we don't do discounts. We've priced this at an incredible value, we feel. And that's it. The exceptions are threefold. We're currently doing some stuff with Ukraine, which no one should have a problem with for obvious reasons. We offer a significant discount. Forgive me, I think it's 30%, but don't quote me. It might be more for marketers that work in not-for-profit. So if you're working in the not-for-profit space, don't go through the usual website to sign up. Approach us via the website, via email, and we can offer you special terms once you establish you as a not-for-profit marketer. You shouldn't be paying full price. You're nicer than the rest of us. And finally, in B2B, so if there's more than 5 of you and it's an organization that wants to put a team through, we have a corporate sales team that offer a B2B service where the pricing is done at a corporate level. So it's not a discount per se, but if you've got more than 5, again, approach us directly via the names and the website, and we can do a different kind of deal for you. Otherwise, we don't ask for it. The price is the price. You'll find out why in Module 9. We're a team of 5+. There you go. B2B. These days, we do an enormous amount of corporate training for large companies, a bit more customization, all kinds of special things. Reach out. We'd love to talk to you. Should I do marketing or brand? I hope I've answered that. It really depends on you. You can do either. We don't mind, but that's the guidance from the previous slide I just showed you. I'm very experienced already. Is it really for me? We get this a lot. I got it yesterday from someone on LinkedIn. Yes, you may have 20 or 30 years experience. That's brilliant. You will still learn loads, and you will not be sat next to 19-year-old kids asking, what is qualitative research? So yeah, we've hand on heart. I don't think I know I've never seen any feedback from senior marketers saying, kind of already knew this. Some of it, but most of it is revelatory one way or another. So average age mid-40s, you're very experienced. That's great. You should come on the course. You'll love it. Do I interact with classmates? If you want to, yes, you do. We used LinkedIn, and now we have our own app, and interaction is one of the fun parts of it. You can even work in teams when we get towards the sort of group work stages with people you've met on the course, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely if you want to. If you don't, you can avoid it. Is the qualification recognized? Definitely not, right? So this is a key point. We are not a university. We don't believe in certificate. If you want a nice, big badge and I've done a master's in la la la, we're not for you. You should go to a university and sit in a lecture theatre and be trained by people less good than me, so you can get a badge. And I'm being a bit sarky, but I respect that. Some people are after badges. Go elsewhere. This is a course for people who want to learn more and progress. It's a practical course, for good and for bad. That said, we give you a certificate of completion because you need it if you want to use this for your training hours, and we are a recognized training provider with the CPD. And weirdly, I have to tell you, although I was intent on the mini MBA being a non-badge course, we have LinkedIn credit as well. So it's a LinkedIn recognized course. So it has become, I'll be honest with you, a course where it isn't recognized as an academic qualification, but it is recognized by recruiters who go, "You've got the mini MBA marketing. That's great. Wasn't it a great course?" So there's a little bit that goes on, but we're not a badge. Okay, if you want a master's in marketing or something like that, or to become a chartered something, we're not that. Yeah, we're practical, and we love people who want to be more academic, not us. What if I'm super busy at work? If you're really, really busy and you're going into the busiest 3 months of your life, probably not a good idea. But otherwise, everyone on the course is busy. Almost everyone is a full-time, very stretched marketer, usually with a couple of small children and cats and stuff. None of us have time. I don't have any time either, right? But we all make this work because we can put it into the spaces in our life. So it works as long as you've got a little bit of time each week where you walk dogs, drive cars, etc. And, a 90-minute sit down with a cup of cocoa to watch a class each week, I don't think is too much of an ask. I don't know why I said cocoa there. What about time differences? Doesn't matter. We do it everywhere. It's on demand. We've effectively cancelled all time differences. You won't miss out, irrespective of where you are on the planet. When do the courses run? We run them in April, the one that's coming up now in April, and then that runs through to the northern summer. And then we do another section of both courses again in September. So you can do brand or marketing in April or September. That's the only time we run them. And you have that choice. Obviously, September runs into Christmas. So we organize them that way. Oh, look, and one more question that comes up a lot. Is this relevant for B2B marketers? It is. About half our marketers come from B2B organizations. I don't think there are as many examples of B2B as B2C in the course, but that's normal. But there are some. The exam, for example, is B2B. But we certainly cover it, and both courses are highly applicable to both industry types. All right, off to the Q&A. So I hope that answered some of your questions, but I'm sure there are more. So what we're going to now is we're going to flip across to the Q&A platform. You can bang away your questions now, and I intend to stay here until we answer all of them. So back to the studio in London, and let's get stuck into the questions. Okay, so I've got a big pile of questions now on the platform itself. So all I'm going to do now is just going to start rolling through them